Welcome back to another episode of Rants of the Week. Sorry I missed my last episode of Rants of the Week. Just trying to be more consistent, you know. But welcome back to another episode of Rants of the Week where I talk about what's going on, things that I've done, things that I basically, sports, talk about my sports teams, talk about sports, talk about shows and stuff that I've watched and stuff going on in my life. Couple things have gone on in my life. I finished the Hunter x Hunter Ants arc this week, and I also watched the new show Chad Powers. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Talk about college football, which some things happened. Alabama got revenge against Diego Pavia, and the frauds in Penn State lost to UCLA. And we had some good NFL games going on. The morning slate was kind of boring, except, Panthers, Dolphins. The Texans winning a dominant win, obviously with the Ravens having a lot of injured players. That kind of helped. And Lamar Jackson not playing. But yeah, we'll get into it and talk about those things. First, I want to talk about college football. I want to talk about Alabama, man. We get revenge against Diego fucking Pavia, dude. This is one of the games I wanted to win this year so badly because I cannot stand Diego Pavia, all that shit he was talking. And it was a good test because the way Vanderbilt plays is kind of a weakness to our defense, and I wanted to see what we could do out there. Obviously coming off a big emotional win against Georgia like it was last year. Then we went on the road and lost to Vanderbilt, but this time we were at home. So it helped us, had the crowd on our side, even though we were kind of basically at home the last game. It's not the same as being actually at home in the comforts of, your own stadium. But, man, I'm happy. Johnny Manziel, for some fucking reason, was on the sideline. And another thing I wanted to rant about is the college game day. It made no fucking sense. I love Theo Vaughn, don't get me wrong. But why are we having Theo Vaughn as our guest picker? Like, don't get me wrong, I love Theo Vaughn. But it made no sense. It feels like when Alabama has college game day, they don't pick a guest picker that's for the University of Alabama. They could have picked many people. Julio Jones, any Alabama alumni they could have picked. But they decided to go with Theo Vaughn, which makes no sense. It was mind-boggling. It was like, but of course that's what Game Day did. It was cool to have Game Day there, Pat McAfee. And then Reese Davis said it in a stupid excuse saying, oh, well, you guys have Nick Saban. Well, Michigan has Desmond Howard and Ohio State has Kirk Herbstreit. But you guys still bring on guests for them. That's not a fucking excuse. That's a dumb excuse. And don't get me wrong, I love Reese Davis. Alabama guy, I love Reese Davis. But come on, man. And he picked Vanderbilt. I was like, dude, get the fuck off my screen. So I'm so glad we fucking beat Vanderbilt. They came there mainly because of Vanderbilt. That's why they came there. So I'm so glad we beat Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. Diego Pavia was running his fucking mouth. And then you had fucking Johnny Manziel on the sideline sucking his cock. So glad we got those two fuckers. Johnny Manziel's still living on that high of 2012, the year we won. Then after that, we won the national championship. Still talking shit about that. I mean, he's the type of guy that lives in the past. Fuck Johnny Manziel. Fuck Vanderbilt. Fuck Diego Pavia. And all the shit they like to talk. And especially the other running back talking all that shit. It was glad it finally came out. The defense didn't play well in the second half. Made some plays in the first half. But came out in the second half and played well. Proud of this team. Ty Simpson looked good. Right now, he's got to be in top 5 of the Heisman, whether you have Dante Moore, Ty Simpson. I think Cardinal Tate is a guy I also want to rant about is Cardinal Tate. He is not getting the respect he deserves. He has been the best receiver so far this year. He's been better than Jeremiah Smith. He's been better than Ryan Williams. That is a fact. Not Cardinal Tate. Sorry, not Cardinal Tate. I'm trying to remember his name. The Tennessee receiver. Chris Braswell. My apologies. I meant Chris Braswell. Scratch that. Not Cardinal Tate. Cardinal Tate had a good game yesterday. That's why he was in my head. Sorry. My bad. Chris Braswell has been the best receiver this season. And it seems like no one's giving him credit for it, which can be very frustrating. I see Tennessee fans complaining about. If I had a favorite right now, Chris Braswell would be my favorite to win the Biletnikoff. I don't know why he's not getting the credit he deserves. Maybe it is because he plays on Tennessee. I think it's more because of the name. He's not as big as Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams. Even Jeremy Bernard. But right now, Jeremy Bernard, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. Well, not Ryan Williams, but Jeremiah Smith, Chris Braswell, and Jeremy Bernard will probably be my favorite right now for the Biletnikoff. You could throw Mario Craver in there too as one of my favorites. I personally think Chris Braswell has been the best receiver so far this year. And I think he's done exceptional, but he's not giving the credit. It's like no one's talking about him. He's just nothing, which is so stupid. Got to give a shout out to Chris Braswell. Got to give more credit to him. He's been the best receiver in the country this season so far, so got to give credit to him. But yeah, I'm glad Alabama got revenge, shut Diego Pavia up. That little, all that princess talk for Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt. I was glad to get our revenge, and I was happy, but I'm already moving on. It was good to celebrate that win. Time to look forward this week to Missouri. Now on to Penn State and UCLA. I mean, are we surprised? Yes, we are surprised that UCLA beat Penn State, but are we surprised that Penn State were proven frauds? They are every year. I had them going to the Big Ten championship, right? I had them losing to Ohio State twice. I thought, with their schedule, I thought maybe they beat Oregon. They'd be at home. I think they beat Oregon. I thought after that they'd have a pretty easy schedule, right? I thought, they'll have a pretty easy schedule. I think they'll make to the Big Ten. I don't think they were better than Ohio State last year, and they made it to the Big Ten championship, right? But then I watched them more into the season, and I was like, never mind. I don't know why. I believed in this team good enough to make the Big Ten championship, and that was only because of their schedule. I didn't believe they were a national championship contender like everybody else said they were. I didn't believe that at all. Oregon, I had my questions about, right? But with Dan Lanning, I feel like I could put a little bit more faith on him being a contender than Penn State, right? Even though I had him losing, right, at the season. But then you more watch the season and you watched going into that game, I ended up picking Oregon going into that week because Oregon was the better team, right? You trust Dan Lanning more in those moments. But on to Penn State, they're everybody thought they were a national championship contender, and they weren't. And I asked this offseason, why are they considered a national championship contender? It made no sense to me. Yeah, I could see them going to the Big Ten championship, but I don't really see them beating Ohio State. I don't see them beating one of those elite teams. They made it last year, but I don't think they were one of those elite teams. I think there was a lot of teams better than last year. I think Oregon was obviously better than Penn State last year. Penn State didn't make it because they were good. They made it because the opponents they played. They were not good last year. They were still frauds. They only made it because the opponents they played. And that's a fact. And Drew Aller proves us once again, the guy's overrated. I didn't get this. It's all about size. Look at this guy. But he never shown us. Never showed up in the games. Never plays that good. Again, it wasn't mainly his fault this week. And I just don't think the fit with Penn State's offense works very well. But other than that, he doesn't help himself by the way he plays. And that Penn State defense, they got cooked, man. Jim Knowles has just got cooked by that shitty UCLA team. Shout out to UCLA and the head coach that they just brought in. That guy didn't look an age over, 30. It was that guy looked very young. I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but he looked sensationally young, and it was nuts to me. And, but yeah, UCLA, I'm not surprised Penn State were proven frauds. They always have been frauds and always will be frauds. It is what it is. Sorry about that. Sorry about the screen. Just fixing it and editing it. But yeah, they're frauds, and I don't think anyone should be surprised. James Franklin, he should be fired, man. Because as Penn State, you can be better. I went over this stuff. They know they can be better. They know they can be a contender, right? Compete for the Big Ten. And they just don't because James Franklin is just not that guy. There's some coaches that are that guy, and there's some coaches that are just not that guy. And James Franklin just is not that guy. And, as Penn State fans, you got to be frustrated. Losing to UCLA, and I know. No one expected this upset to happen because UCLA hasn't been a good team all year. But traveling across the country to LA after losing a heartbreaker to Oregon, yeah. But that's the whole point of sports. You got to move on. Look at Alabama. They played Georgia, but they had to move on to Vanderbilt. We play Missouri next week. We got to move on quick. That's how it is. You got to move on to the next day. When you have bad stuff happen, you got to work on it, calm down, and you got to move on. And James Franklin they look so unprepared, look so unready. They look like they were playing a big game, and they lost the small ones. Games that they don't usually lose, and they lost. But no one should be surprised. Penn State are frauds. No one should be surprised. That's what James Franklin does. He's just not that guy. He's not that coach, and I think they need to move on from him. And talking about another college football team, Texas, man. Freaking Texas, man. I can't believe it. They I can't believe I picked Arch Manning in Texas to win the national championship. I thought Arch would be good. I thought Arch is going to go off. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I trust Steve Sarkisian. I feel like this is the year for Texas. Arch Manning looks dog shit. That defense had been playing good all year until yesterday. And you know what's so funny to me? To me, I really think what holds Texas back is their offensive line and their quarterback. I think Arch Manning's garbage. And I think that offensive line is bad. And when you have the two most important positions on offense being garbage, you're not going to be good. You're not going to be good. Right? They've struggled all year. And it really makes you question about Ohio State, right? That's one thing. You got to question Ohio State. They only beat them by 7. And they only scored 14 points on them. So that really makes you question Ohio State too. Just want to throw that out there. But more about Texas. I mean, I can't believe I picked them. I mean, Arch Manning's terrible. That offensive line is terrible. That team is it's so mediocre. And they're being held back by their horrible offensive line and horrible quarterback. And the defense didn't even play good yesterday. But I still think that defense is good. You know, you're going to have some bad games. That's what it is. Texas defense is a good defense, but sometimes they have bad games. It is what it is. But that defense did not look good yesterday, and Arch Manning just looks dog shit. The offensive line wasn't helping him out either. They looked very bad, and it was just all around rough for Texas. I mean, I'd rather go on the road and play Texas next week at Texas than play Missouri. Like, Texas looks abysmal, man, and they might lose. They're going to lose. They might lose. We'll see how it goes. Maybe they improve. I doubt it. Arch Manning looks like he's in his own head. Like, he looks like he's going crazy. Texas is fucked. Billy Napier wins a game where he saves his job again, but he should still be fired after the season. He's just not that guy. He's not. Florida needs to look better. When you're a school like Florida, you need to look for better. You need to improve. You need to upgrade. And they need to move on from Billy Napier. Unless he has like a crazy season, goes 9-3, I just feel like you got to move on from him. I just don't feel like he's that coach. He's shown multiple times. He'd get that win once in a while, right? But, man, I just don't think he's that good of a coach. I don't think he's the guy for the team, and I think Florida can do so much better. They're a school of, high prestige, and they could do so much better than Billy Napier, and they need to fire him, and I feel like they will, probably towards the end of the season, and go for someone more better for them and that fits them more well, because Billy Napier is just, I don't care if he won that game yesterday. He's still not a good coach. Like, Texas, yeah, it's an okay win, but I don't think Billy Napier is not that good of a coach, and it's not like beating Texas is a crazy win as how we look at it now, because their offensive line and Arch Manning are just dog shit. They are just not that good of a team. And then Florida State, too. Like, dude, I can respect one thing I want to get on my chest, I can respect a team that beats Alabama and is a good team, right? They beat us, but they show out, right? They're a good team overall. It wasn't just the Alabama win. But, dude, Florida State pissed me off yesterday. They sold their soul to beat Bama. That's all Thomas Castellanos cared about was beating Bama. That was it. That's all he cared about. That's all that Florida State cared about. It's people don't like when we say you're our Super Bowl, but it proves you're our Super Bowl when you fall apart for the rest of the season. Like, Florida State wasn't even competitive in the game. Miami dominated them all facets of the game. Don't look at that score. Florida State had garbage time plays. They made some garbage time things happen, but they're not that good of a team. I mean, they're still good of a team, but they're not as good as they may have made out to be. And it's like Alabama was their Super Bowl. And Thomas Castellano, that's all they cared. And it's so frustrating when that's the only thing teams care about. It's like, oh, yeah, let's just beat this team. Let's just beat this team. That's all we care about. Let's just beat this team. And then fall apart for the rest of the season. Like, hey, I'll have a little bit more respect for you if you can win your other games and show that you're an actual good team and don't just care about beating Bama. Like, that's the frustrating part. Was that the only important game, was beating Bama? That was it? That's all you cared about? It's frustrating, but at the same time, it was good for Alabama because that could end up being a good marker for our season and showing that maybe that's what we needed. Maybe sometimes, you need a little nudge in the face, a little punch in the face to wake up, and maybe that's what we needed at the end of the day for us to improve and be better as a team. And we've looked way better throughout the season now. But, yeah, that's enough of college football. Well, now let's get into the NFL and talk about what happened in the NFL today. Now getting into the NFL, man, I mean, let's start off with the Texans. It was a shaky start, and you saw my first ranks of the week. I was pissed. We looked plain. And obviously the Titans, they got a win against the Cardinals, so, that was pretty big for them. That was a wild play by Tyler Lockett, and that wild pick six debacle. Cardinals pick it off, fumble it. That was crazy. Heartbreaking for the Cardinals. But we beat the Titans, and we beat the depleted Ravens. Pretty much, the Ravens are cooked, man. We were beating them so bad that I feel bad for them, because I'm a big Lamar Jackson guy. They got to fire John Harbaugh and move on, because even before this, the players they had on their defense, they should be a good defense. They have the players, but for some reason, I don't know what it is. The scheme, the team, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fit. I don't know. But they need to fire their defensive coordinator. I think they just need to blow it up. I think there might be in their best option just to sit Lamar Jackson for the rest of the season. That might be in their best option right now. Sit Lamar Jackson out for the rest of the season and just tank. And, try to get a high draft pick. You can go up there and get somebody, help your defense a little bit more, help your offensive line. Because also, their offensive line is terrible. Their offensive line is abysmal, man. It is not good whatsoever. But the Ravens are sad. It's depressing. But let's talk more about the Texans, because obviously they're my team. But, wow. We dominate in all facets of the game. I'm glad. This could be like a get-right game for us. Help us out a little bit. Get in the groove of thing. Get our offense. We're going into a bye week. So we're coming off a 2-game winning streak. Going into the bye week. Then we play Seattle on Monday Night Football. But I'm glad the way we came out, because good teams dominate bad teams. And the Ravens today were a bad team with a bad roster. And that's what we did. We dominated and we killed them. I'm just glad that it helped our offense get a bit of a confident booster and make our offense feel a little bit more confident. That's what I'm very happy about. And that's what I'm very, I'm very happy for this team. I'm very happy for this offense to get going, get in the groove of things. Like I said, a get-right game. Get us back in the groove of everything. And I'm glad that we were able to do that against this bad team. I mean, CJ looked good, and I'm good for him. Like, all this stuff of us looking good is just good for our confidence. It's good for a confidence builder to make ourselves feel like, wait, we can do this. And I know people are going to say it's a bad team, whatever, but it's like I said, it's just a good confidence booster, and I like the way CJ looked. Like I told you, if CJ's in a good system, he can look good when his O-line blocks for him, when he gets the right play calls. He looks good. And we'll have to see what Nick Caley does. He's going to have to keep on proving it. Seattle's going to be a big game. But the great thing about having the best defense in the league is they're going to keep us in every game. Right? We played against good teams, and we've been in the game with the Rams and the Buccaneers. We could have beat them both, and with the Jags. Because guess what? Our defense is going to keep us in every game. It matters about our offense. I'm hoping we can get some confidence. We got some confidence going. Let's come out the bye, get rested well, and come out and dominate and win. We're going to have a tough schedule. We play the Seahawks, 49ers. I don't know all that in a row, but we come out and play the Seahawks after our bye, which should be a fun game. Well, I don't know how fun of a game it is. We'll see how our offense performs. But our offense has got to use this and got to keep using this as momentum and keep going and going and going. Just overall proud of this team. Nico Collins got a touchdown. Everybody got a touchdown. Jalen Noel finally got a touchdown, which was cool, which was awesome. Happy for the rookie. Jalen Petrie was a beast today with 2 picks. Too great. And the defense great as usual. Kamari Lasser with great technique as a corner, if you saw that play and got the interception. What a play. Defense shows out like they do every week. I'm glad D'Amico stopped defensive play calling. Not because he's a bad defensive play caller, but because now he can focus on the whole operation of the team and just be worried about being the coach, which I'm glad about. And it looks like it might help. So we'll see who we truly are in these next couple games coming out the bye. But I'm glad we were able to get ourselves right, have a get-right game, get together, and be overall a good team. And I'm glad, man. I am glad of what we've done, and we dominated, man. We dominated. So good going into the bye. 2-3. Woody Marks didn't get much carries, but for how much he did, he looked good. We got to get him more involved. Him, Noel, we got to get the rookies more involved because they looked good, man. Woody Marks and his, on the carries he got. Nick Chubb looked good. It was good to get the run game going these last 2 weeks. Nick Chubb looked fine. Woody Marks looked fine. I mean, Woody Marks looks great. I think he's definitely a future of our running back position. Nick Chubb got a touchdown. CJ running with them wheels after joking about feeling a little old and feeling a little slow. He was joking a little bit, but he looked good going. I hope that helps his confidence. This offensive line, hope it helps their confidence too. And I think we looked great, dominated at all facets of the game. And we'll move on to our bye, on to the next. More about this NFL. The morning slate wasn't that great. The Cowboy. One thing I do want to talk about is Dak has got to be the MVP favorite. Dak has got to be the favorite for MVP. it all depends on if he makes the playoffs. If he keeps this up, which I think he will, then he will win the MVP. But it all matters. That defense is still a little shaky. They had a good performance today, but that defense could be the downfall of the Cowboys in Dak's MVP combos. If the Cowboys can make the playoffs, even just as a wild card, I think Dak's got that MVP on lock. Because I don't know how he's not the favorite right now. I mean, I think he should be a favorite. I don't know how you don't think he is the favorite. He has played phenomenal this season, has balled out, has been incredible. I mean, he has carried this team. And without him, I don't know what the Cowboys would do. I mean, obviously, they could use pass rushers right now, like someone they traded, Micah Parsons. I mean, this Cowboys team, defense is what's holding them back. Jerry Jones doesn't make good decisions, but he lucked. He made a good decision for trading for George Pickens because George Pickens has been incredible, man. And I mean, and also he lucked. It was the hiring process for the new head coach was very, very horrible. He lucked into the fact that he found a good coach. I think the defense is an issue with the Cowboys, but I think that's more of a player issue, not having the right players, and just not overall Matt Eberflus just not being a good defensive coordinator, which I think was a Jerry Jones hire. But I think Brian Schottenheimer is a good coach, man. I truly believe in the guy. I just watched him week 1 against the Eagles. I believe that guy's a good coach. I believe he's a good coach, man. I believe he is a good coach. And I hope the Cowboys make the wild card. They look like a good team this year. They really look like a good team this year. We'll see how they do. The defense might be holding them back, but Dak is 100% the MVP favorite and should be the MVP favorite going far. Didn't really have good morning games other than Miami and Panthers, which look good. Bryce Young, I mean, I'm a big Bryce Young guy, but man, even though they got the win, it's looking rough. It's looking real rough right now for him, but he was able to come back, play good, get a win in the second half, come out, play better in the second half, and get the win. The Dolphins, I mean, there's not much to say about the Dolphins. I mean, they look. Chu played a fine game, but he couldn't get it done at the end, and the Dolphins just need they need to blow it up. They're off. Their defense is horrible, man. Tyreek Hill getting injured last week. And their offense is okay, but their defense just looks bad. They need to blow it up. They need to get rid of everybody. Just blow it up. Go in a totally new direction. Find a new coach. They just need time to blow up the operations. The Seahawks Buccaneers, what a game that was. I mean, Sam Darnold sold at the end. I mean, he sold at the end with that pick. But the Buccaneers, I was more than wrong about them. They look like a good team, man. They're definitely a title contender for the NFC. And I mean, if you can get to the Super Bowl, you're a Super Bowl contender. And Emeka Egbuka, definitely, easily the favorite twin rookie of the year right now. I mean, the Buccaneers look like it. Right now, if I had to pick an NFC favorite, I mean, their defense still worries me a little bit. But, man, I felt good about the Packers. We'll see how they come out the bye week. We'll see what the Eagles lost today, too. I forgot about that game. The Eagles and the Buccaneers. Eagles and Broncos. Good win by the Broncos. The Eagles' offense is just... Oh, I have Saquon on my fantasy, and Saquon does not look the same. They don't give the ball to Saquon, man. They don't give the ball to Saquon like they did last year. And it's just, the Eagles' offense is brutal. If anything's going to hold them back, it's that offense, man. And I don't know what to say about that offense. It's bad. And another reason why they lost today. And the main reason I think why they lost today and choked. But it's always good to see the Eagles lose. I love watching the Eagles lose. So I'm not pressed over it. I'm happy. Saquon got a long touchdown. He got me the points I needed in my fantasy. So I'm happy with that. I'm always happy when the Eagles lose. So I ain't mad about it. But, man, they have some issues. The Buccaneers, Eagles, Packers, all those teams in sorts. Dylan Gabriel, didn't really watch the game, but Dylan Gabriel didn't look bad in his debut with the Browns, too. Just wanted to give a shout-out to him. He looked fine out there. He didn't look bad. So, out to him. And even though the Browns lost and the Vikings won, shout out to Dylan Gabriel. It didn't look bad. But, yeah, I mean, the Seahawks Buccaneers, what a game that was. Shout out to the Buccaneers for winning that game. Shout out to Levante David for getting that pick. And, I mean, Sam Darnold that was bad. That was bad. Hopefully the Manners can win tonight so it's not such a bad night for Seattle. Because that was rough. Rough way to lose the game. They're going to play the Texans in 2 weeks, which I didn't go to the game. I wanted to go to the game, but I wasn't able to. Just things happened, and that's okay. I'll be rooting from the comfort of my home. I'll be rooting for the Texans from comfort of home. Hopefully we can win that game and beat the Seattle Seahawks. I have a lot of family members that are Seahawks fans, a lot of family and friends that are Seahawks fans. So should be exciting game. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be exciting in terms of entertainment, but exciting. Friends, family that are Seahawks fans going against my team. So I guess that's the exciting part of the game. We'll see how it is. I mean, our defense can keep us in every game. Seattle's not an easy place to win in. But shout out to the Buccaneers for going in there, winning it. Baker Mayfield, a fucking dog. Emeka Ibuka, just so good. I mean, he's already entering the top 10 wide receiver conversation. Emeka Ibuka, easily the favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. He has been amazing. Him and Jackson Smith-Njigba waiting to a wide receiver battle to Ohio State guys. I mean, just amazing. Emeka Ibuka is special, man. He's special. Baker, dog, not much to say. That's it, pretty much. Also, little other things. Got into some new shows. I can't really pronounce the one new anime I got into, but it is very good and I'm enjoying it. I don't really know how to pronounce it. It starts with a G. I'm not really good at pronouncing it. Maybe once I'll pronounce it, I'll talk about it more. But I got into a new one, and it's pretty good. It is pretty good. It's one of the newer ones that I watched, pretty good. Finished the Ant arc. I don't. That's not what it's called. In Hunter x Hunter, amazing ending, sad ending to the season. That was very sad to see the Ant. He kind of finally realized what he was meant for, and that ending to the Ant arc in Hunter x Hunter was very. That was very heartbreaking. The ending was sad. Seeing the little girl die. Oh man, that was heartbreaking. But that was definitely one of the best seasons I've ever seen in a show. One of the best seasons, arcs or seasons I've seen in a show. That was incredible, man. I mean, Hunter x Hunter, definitely top tier anime. One of the most peak stuff I've watched ever. Also started watching Chad Powers. I would recommend watching Chad Powers. Chad Powers is an amazing show, man. I like the first 2 episodes so far. I think it's a good show. I think y'all should check it out. And I think it's funny. I think it's very entertaining. And hopefully, I can't wait till the Tuesday when the next episode comes out. So I would recommend checking out Chad Powers. Very entertaining, very funny show. Obviously, I like watching sports shows, so watching shows that involve sports. So I do enjoy it. I do like it. Other than that, that's pretty much the rants of the week. I appreciate you. If you liked the video, please click like and subscribe. I'm hoping we should be back next week for a couple more videos. I'll try to put more content in. I got to be more consistent, I know. But if you did enjoy the video, please click like and subscribe. If you want to check me on my socials, my TikTok accounts, everything else, there's a link tree in my bio where you can check out my Instagram, Twitter, all my other stuff, where I'm very active on those accounts too. But if you like this video, I appreciate your time coming to this video. If you liked it, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you till next time. Evo Evie.